2025 NFL team previews the Raiders of Las Vegas. Raiders off a 4-win season, so just like any other team who disappoints like that, you can expect changes. General manager Tom Telesco, head coach Antonio Pierce, both fired. In comes John Spytek as general manager and 73-year-old Pete Carroll at head coach. Pete's bringing along with him his quarterback in Seattle, Geno Smith, which is an upgrade from probably the worst quarterback room in the league last year. I bumped the Raiders up from their end of season power ratings strictly because they have a quarterback now and a coach now. If the Raiders didn't play indoors, I'm not sure I'd value Geno Smith much at all, but Geno's numbers indoors compared to outdoors is pretty significant. 15 career starts indoors, Geno Smith generated a positive EPA in all 15 of those games. Along with a 52% success rate, his numbers are equivalent to what a top 5 quarterback in the league's numbers would look like. In those indoor starts, his team's offense went over their win total 14 of the 15 games, going over by an average margin of 9 points. Now, compared to playing outdoors, his numbers dropped to around a league average, which I guess would still be an upgrade to last year, one of the worst offenses in the league with Minshew and Aiden O'Connell. No offense turned it over more on third and fourth down and in the red zone than the Raiders did. It was so bad they gave mercy to star wide receiver Devontae Adams and let him go to the Jets mid-season. Now, there's a saying about how good teams get lucky. If that's true, then bad teams get unlucky, and that was true for the 2024 Raiders team. There's a few categories where luck plays a big factor. Fumbles, and more importantly, fumble recoveries is a big one. Nothing more random than a fumble bouncing on the ground. Where it ends up, nobody knows, but last season it almost never ended up in the hands of a Raiders player. 33 fumbles, only 6 recoveries. They had the single worst fumble recovery rate of 20%. It's the lowest fumble recovery rate of any team in the past decade. It's a full 8% lower than the next team. Raiders fumbled a lot on offense, caused some fumbles on defense, but just never recovered them. Overall, they finished negative 16 in turnover differential. The Raiders' turnovers were at the worst possible times, too. In the fourth quarter, with a game margin of 7 points or less, the Raiders' offense had the second highest turnover rate. Defense didn't force a single turnover in the 200 of those plays, too. Injuries are another thing that's unpredictable. They depend largely on luck. Raiders finished the second worst injury luck. How that's measured is adjusted games lost due to injury, or AGL for short. Every position group on defense was impacted by injuries, with players missing multiple games. I have the Raiders playing just easier than a league average strength of schedule this season. I have their average opponent rated a half point below a league average team. They're expected to face the fourth easiest schedule of opposing offenses. I keep seeing people talk about how the Raiders have the overall worst net rest advantage in the league. Negative 19-day rest disadvantage, which is true. It's by far the worst. The next closest is like negative 9 days. But my opinion, rest advantage or disadvantage in this case is something that takes a toll over a season more than it is like week to week. Raiders face 3 teams who will enter the game coming off a bye week, which obviously means their opponent has more rest days. But in 2 of those games, the Raiders have 10 days of rest themselves. Now, short weeks, which is less than 7 days rest, Raiders have 3 of those. Not saying rest days don't matter, but it matters more like situationally, and it's not really like correlated to being a definitive negative. The Broncos had 16-day net rest disadvantage last season. They made a run to the playoffs, and just because a team has a 12-day or 12 days of rest one week and you have like 10, yes, it's a 2-day net rest disadvantage, but not sure how much that matters at all. Well, at least it's not something I think that does. A lot of change in personnel this season. Most of the times it is with a 4-win team. Not really Super Bowl winning type moves, but they definitely aren't expecting to be a losing team. A lot of new character guys trying to like rebuild the culture. Ashton Genty, that's like a win now type pick, which should absolutely help improve their run game. They also got veteran Raheem Mostert. Seems clear this offense intends to be more run heavy. Probably the lone bright spot on the offense last year was rookie tight end Brock Bowers. He set NFL rookie tight end records for both receptions and receiving yards. On defense, they basically just like swapped out Nate Hobbs, Robert Spillane, and Trey Mowering for Stokes, Jermaine Pratt, and Jeremy Chin. I've always liked Jeremy Chin. He's like a hybrid safety linebacker. I once bet him to score a defensive touchdown when he was on the Panthers at like plus 7,000 odds, and he did it. It's documented somewhere in the Discord on a game preview I did. I want to say he scored 2 touchdowns in that game. It was a while ago, so I don't really remember. It could have been 2 touchdowns in 2 straight games or something. But anyway, the strength and key to this Raiders defense is the front four. If defensive coordinator Patrick Graham, who I really like, can get like a full healthy season from Max Crosby, Wilkins, and Kuntz, it'll be a top 8 pass rush unit. Raiders have a win total of basically 7. The 6.5s are juiced to the over. My projection doesn't get there because I have them in a tough division, and their divisional opponents, I project them to outperform their numbers. Plus, I don't like the Raiders, so they have no home field advantage. When you have a city that opposing fans want to go to, and when there's not like a lot of season ticket holders, there isn't a home field edge. Opposing fans like plan trips out to Vegas when their team is in town. Um, but on the other end, I do like the idea of backing like perceived bad teams with low win totals when they have a good head coach. Pete Carroll's teams are 10-4 to the over on win totals since 2010. He consistently exceeds market expectations on win totals. Um, Teams with win totals between 5.5 and 7.5 not only have been the best ROI for betting over win totals, but also the best ROI for betting yes to make playoffs. At least one team with odds of plus 280 or higher have made the playoffs the last 25 years. Most seasons, it's a team with odds of plus 320 or higher. Um, Last 25 years, a team with a win total of 8 or less has made the playoffs. 5 teams did it last year alone. So I wouldn't argue with someone who sees upside with the Raiders team and bets their over wins. I mean, the Raiders are currently favored or like near a pick 'em in 6 different games: Jags, Titans, who else? Giants, Browns, Colts, and Patriots. It's just not something I'm personally running to go do. Don't forget to like, comment, and share. Running through these teams. Next up, we got the LA Chargers, so be on the lookout for that one. And until next time, good luck with your bets.